Good morning, Kate here from Faith, Hope and Laundry. Thank you for joining me this morning. It's a Friday morning and I've got a work conference this weekend, so I'm just wanting to plan ahead and do some food prep for the coming week. I work full time and I have 3 busy teenagers, so if you're in a similar situation, I know for me just doing some food prep ahead really takes a huge weight off my shoulders, and I just feel less burdened going into the coming week if I have things organised and some meals organised. So what we're going to be doing today is a delicious pea and ham soup. We're going to do 2 different kinds of patties that could be either eaten on their own, or you could have them in a burger. So I'm going to do some Thai chicken burgers, patties, and then also some vegetarian black bean patties. And then I am going to make a sweet and sour sauce for some pre-made meatballs that I've got in the freezer, and if I've got time I might do something with some sausages that I've got as well. So let's get going. So in here I've had cooking overnight like a broth for the pea and ham soup. You can see it's all steamy. It's been in the crock pot for, oh gosh, a good 10 hours now. In here I put a pork bone, a smoked pork bone, diced carrot, some celery, onion, 2 bay leaves, some peppercorns, and approximately 4 litres of water, and that's just been sitting there overnight, and the flavour will be coming out from the pork bone, the smoked pork bone.
The recipe also suggests to soak all of the green split peas overnight, as this will make the cooking time reduced the next day.
So I'm just going to take this pork bone out of here, and as you can see it's completely falling apart, which is how we want it. Oh gosh, it really is going to fall apart. I'm just going to take this out to cool down. And this is beautiful. This is just how we want it. All the flavours come out of the actual bone into the broth, and then the meat from this pork bone will be taking off once it's cooled down. So I'm now just going to strain all of this broth into a large soup pan, and all of these veggies just get discarded. All the flavours come out of them now, so we're just going to be concentrating on the broth and getting the rest of the soup made. So I've got my bone broth base here, and now we're just going to pop in the split peas. These are the ones that have been soaking overnight. So there's about 450-500 grams here. So let's pop that in. And I've got 2 cups of stock. This is chicken stock that I've made up. And then also some red lentils are going to go in, 1 1/4 cups. And this is now just going to simmer away for about half an hour until the green peas are mushy and well cooked. So I've got my broth with the split peas. They're cooking at the moment for about half an hour. So while that's doing that, I've got my pork bone here, which is cooling down, and then I have got 2 cups of black beans, which is going to be the main component of our black bean burgers. So we're just going to make a start with those while the broth is cooking down a bit more and the peas are cooking. So I've got 2 cups of, sorry, not 2 cups, I've got 2 cans of black beans here, and the recipe calls to drain them off, rinse them, and then dry them really well, and then they're going to go into the oven to just get really dry. Even if you're not a vegetarian, these burgers really are so delicious. We do have a vegetarian in our family, but you know, whether you have them in a burger or just on their own with a salad, they just really are super delicious. You can make them and freeze them as well. They freeze really well. Okay, so I think these are as dry as I'm going to get them. So I'm going to pop them onto this tray. And they're just going to go into a low oven for probably about maybe 10 minutes or so. Just keep an eye on them until they are dried out. So to carry on with our black bean patties, I'm going to cook down some garlic, some carrot. The recipe actually calls for pepper, but I didn't have any pepper, so I'm just going to use some carrot for a bit of sweetness. And then I have whizzed down, just chopped up in my food processor, a couple of large onions, and this is great to use, you know, just have in your freezer, that you can just pull out at any time that you need a chopped onion. So there's going to be pretty much a cup of onion is going to cook down as well. This has been sweating down now for about 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to add in some herbs and spices now just to cook down a little bit. So we've got cumin. These are the spices that really make the patties just taste so delicious. Chili powder or chili flakes. Smoked paprika. This is probably one of my favourite spices of all time. And we're just going to let this cook in for a couple of minutes. Back to the soup now. We're just going to finish this off. This has been simmering for well over half an hour now, and you can see that the peas are nice and mushy. So into here we are going to add carrot and leek. The meat from the pork bone. And a whole head of celery that has been chopped up, including the leaves. Now this soup makes a huge quantity. It would feed my family of 4 at least 2 or 3 dinners, and then probably some lunches as well. If you just pop some bread with it, it's super filling. and yeah, the recipe goes a long way. So this is now going to simmer away again for about another 20-25 minutes, just until the veggies are tender, and then the soup is done. Just done a little tidy of my kitchen, and I'm just going to pop the dishwasher on before we get going. Here are my dried out black beans. We're just going to pulse them in the food processor a little bit, just so some of them are a bit smaller and some of them remain a little bit chunky. Let's finish off these black bean burger patties. So into my cooked down garlic, onion and carrot and spices mixture, I'm going to pop some breadcrumbs, half a cup of breadcrumbs, some salt and pepper here, 2 eggs. Oh, that was a double yolker, that one. And then my pulsed up black beans, dried black beans. Two tablespoons of ketchup, just eyeball that, and a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. The end of that bottle. So now you can actually put feta cheese into these burgers as well, which would give a lovely sort of tangy taste, but I am dairy free, so I don't put any cheese into any of my burgers. So we're just going to give this a good mix until it's all incorporated.
This time when I made these patties, I was trying to figure out what I had done differently in the past when I've made them, because as you can see here, they just look like they're falling apart, and they were definitely, more tricky to get to stay together. And I realized what I have done in the past is I whizzed all the ingredients together in the food processor, including the black beans, and it just made the mixture, more sort of moist and stickable together. So the actual patties, just were able to be formed a lot easier. I had a couple of packets of sausages in my fridge, so I thought I might as well use those and cook something up for the week as well. So the recipe that I'm using here is actually a recipe that I can't credit to anyone. It's a handwritten recipe that I've just had in my cupboard, but it is so delicious. So yeah, I would recommend that you make this. It makes the kitchen smell divine with sausages and onion and garlic and red wine. So first of all, I'm just browning off the sausages. They don't need to be fully cooked yet. And then into the pan goes bacon. I'm doubling the recipe here. I will put the recipe into the description below. I'll just handwrite it out for you. The onion also goes in. This is onion that I have chopped up in the food processor, which makes it really, really handy. So this is just sweating down the onion and the bacon until it is slightly browned. And the smell in the kitchen at this time is amazing. The sausages now just get nestled back into the onion and bacon mixture. Obviously, this is going to last, my family for a good couple of meals. There's a lot of sausages in there. Into the pot goes 2 bay leaves. These are just dried bay leaves that I had in my cupboard. And garlic, a good tablespoon of garlic here. I probably actually should have put that into the pan first with the onion and bacon, but oh well. And then red wine. Now the red wine really does make a difference to how the overall taste of the dish, turns out. And the alcohol will cook off from this red wine. This is about 450 mils of red wine. It's just a cooking wine. It's not an expensive wine at all. You don't need to spend a lot of money on, cooking wine. If you didn't want to use any wine, then you could just replace this liquid with vegetable or chicken stock would be absolutely fine. And then we're just going to thicken up the whole sauce with a couple of teaspoons of flour. Just give that a good mix around. And the red wine just gives a real, depth of flavour to the overall dish. I've got some pre-diced mushrooms here that I am just popping onto the top, and then some mixed herbs. So you could even just use oregano or thyme by itself, but mixed herbs is really, really lovely as well. And then the lid is just going to go on, and these sausages are going to cook for about half an hour more, and the flavour is developed.
So while my sausages are just simmering for about 30 minutes, I'm going to try a new recipe. I got these mini meatballs from a shop that's called Reduced Clear in New Zealand. I'm sure, in your country, wherever you're watching from, you will have a similar type of shop. You can buy like sort of end of line products, or they even have products that are sort of close to expiry date, but they can still be used, that kind of shop. So I got 2 packets of these mini meatballs, and I'm going to do a sweet and sour sauce to go with them that we can just have, just throw together during the week. It'll be easy. So in my pot here, I have got a cup of pineapple juice. I just got that from a tin of pineapple rings. 3 tablespoons of vinegar. I'm just going to use rice wine vinegar, but you could use any vinegar, just plain white vinegar. You could even use, apple cider vinegar. And then a tablespoon of soy sauce. Half a cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar. And then also we're going to put 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. This is maize corn flour. It's just, going to thicken it a little bit. So whatever you've got in your cupboard that is similar. We'll just give that a little mix and we'll go and pop it on the heat. And we're just going to stir this constantly until it starts to thicken up to the consistency that you would like it for your family, in terms of how thick the sauce is. I don't know if you can see this very well, but it all of a sudden just changed from like a light sort of caramel colour to a darker caramel colour, and it's definitely thickening up quite nicely. So I think we're almost there with this one. So this is the consistency that I've got it at. It's just ever so slightly thick, which I think is how my family are going to enjoy it. And I'll just give it a little taste as well. Yeah, that tastes really, really good. The sort of right amounts and the right balance of sweet and tanginess. Okay, so I'm going to turn that one off. Okay, so we've got it all going on here. I've got my lovely glossy thick sweet and sour sauce that is just cooling down. The sausage casserole is also cooked and is cooling down. I did add some carrots into here as well because I had them already grated and prepped and they needed to be used. This smells amazing. And then the soup I've got in here is cooked and that is just cooling down as well. This last recipe is super easy. I've got about 800 grams of chicken mince in here and we're going to make some Thai green burgers, chicken burgers out of this. So into my chicken mince is going garlic. I'm just eyeballing these amounts. This is just a recipe that I've kind of just put together myself. It's not actually a recipe from anyone as such. And then I've got some green curry paste. You could actually use any type of curry paste in these and it will obviously just give a slightly different flavour, but you know, you could use tandoori curry paste or buttered chicken curry paste. I'm going to put, yeah, a good couple of heaped tablespoons in there. And then we're just going to give this a good mix around. Oh, some salt and pepper as well. So it's as simple as that, just all mixed together, and now we're going to make them into patties, just shape them into patties and then cook them on the stove. They can be eaten with, you know, just by themselves or in a burger with potatoes and salad. They really are very delicious. So here is what we have got at the end of that big cook up. This is going to be enough for definitely the whole week, if not more than that. I've got enough black bean patties here for you know, one meal definitely, possibly lunches as well. And then I've got all of these chicken patties. We can have them in burgers or just have them with salad and chips. This sausage casserole is, oh my gosh, it's delicious. So I really suggest that you try and make this one. This will be enough for my family for two meals. And then this soup, we could probably actually have this you know, before dinner every night of the week this week if we wanted to. There's so much here. Or I might put them into, you know, just single servings and pop them in the freezer for a later time. And then I've got my beautiful sweet and sour sauce here, which we will have with our meatballs at some point, and that will probably be, yeah, a good meal and a half, some lunches as well, depending on who is home on that evening. So I hope you enjoyed this video and gave you some meal ideas. I'll link them all below and I will see you next time. Bye.